I'm going to run a few show dates past you in case you happen to be listening to this before March 21st, 2015. If not, ignore this part. I want this podcast to be timeless, even 1,000 million years from now. Anyways, here we go. March 21st, 2015, we're going to be playing with Lazy Susan at Lucky Records, Worcester, Ohio, 2 p.m. Same day, March 21st, we're going to be at a house show in Columbus, Ohio, about say 8 p.m. And then we got March 28th with Sexy Pig Divas and Listen Little Man at Mayhall's 20 Lanes in Lakewood, Ohio, 8:30 p.m. April 18th, we're going to be with Sexy Pig Divas again, Icarus Flu, Bernadette Lim, Infinitribe, Tribe of Eos, at the Tribe of Eos fundraiser at Susie's Dogs and Drafts in Youngstown, Ohio, 8 p.m. May 1st, Third Class, maybe some other bands. Right now it's just us. Taffy's, the music mecca of the universe in Eaton, Ohio. That's near Dayton, Ohio, 8 p.m. May 23rd, Third Class, Shiloh Hawkins, Harnessing the Sun, Idle Shades, and a couple more acts, I believe, will be at Susie's Dogs and Drafts for the Speaking of Music podcast launch about 8 or 9 p.m. Then we got June 27th, Third Class, solo. That's just me playing Third Class songs with just keyboard or just guitar and vocals at Deletto Winery in Canfield, Ohio, 7 p.m. Come to any of those shows and pick up your copy of the $15 Hymns from Some Small Town on vinyl. It sounds good on vinyl, people. If you want details for any of these shows, go to thirdclass.net and check out the details. Thank you very much. Let's get on with the show.
Well, actually, my religion is no religion.
Sorry. Hey guys, welcome to Nursery Podcast, something from Ohio's, whatever. This is my friend Pepe. He's in the band Third Class with me. Listen to us at thirdclass.net. He's in the Bullskit Productions comedy troupe. Check us out at bullskit.com.
Bullskit.com. Check it out.
Check out bullskit.com. There's a bunch of comedy at bullskit.com.
Thirdclass.net. You gotta check out everything you do too much.
I'm a putty from the Power Rangers.
We do a lot of things really bad instead of one thing really good.
And guys, if anyone's listening to this who doesn't know us, which is most people, what goes on is this. Me, my friend Pepe, my younger brother Jack, we write songs together, we go on tour, we play a lot in Youngstown, Ohio, we put out albums. We recently put out a vinyl record. We've been selling it, playing shows. We're all very busy.
Look, Mom, I'm on a podcast.
That doesn't come till the end.
Oh,
no.
I knew that was a thing. Am I too close to the mic?
No, you're really good. You can get closer, actually. I'm so loud.
Is this too close?
See, it's still really quiet on here.
Is this?
You can be way loud.
I can't be loud.
No, I know. Here, I'll put this. Sorry. Okay, but anyways, our history is this. We write songs together, we make skits together, we do things together. A lot of times, some of our best moments are when we're out on tour, and we get really slap happy when we're a couple days in, and then me and him and Jack just riff on each other and act like idiots.
Well, I don't.
No, he's very,
No, I definitely act like an idiot.
Classy. Third classy. Your role in our tours is usually sleeping.
I do all the sleeping for all of us. Because these guys, they don't know how to do it right, so I just do it the whole time. So it's actually cool. I'm like, man, we live so close to all these cities, but really it's just I get in the car and then I wake up and I'm like, whoa, we're in Chicago. And tour is all fun and no work.
And then when we were in Chicago, remember how we've done this a few times. Anytime we've gone west, we figure what we can do to not to lose the hour when we go back is just not go back.
Yeah.
But anyways,
no, we do come back. We're actually really good at the time travel thing now.
Oh yeah.
But
But being that we come back to Ohio all the time, why is it that you come back? What is it that you think about Ohio?
I think Ohio is cool. And this might just be that thing where you just try to stick up for the place you live just because you're there. But I don't know. I think it's cool because you have to be creative and like find out who you are on your own instead of like some places people live in areas or cities where like, you know, like there's like certain cool things to do and it's like shoved down your throat. And I feel like here you have to figure out what you enjoy doing. So it's cool because, I don't know, people complain that there's nothing to do here, but there is. You just have to go look for it.
Yeah. What is it that, let's take it back a little farther. I guess I've been doing this a lot lately, but what is it that you and me did in Ohio as kids?
Oh boy. We rode our bikes a lot.
Oh yeah.
But, you know, we just got really into music and we would do that like all day and all night. We did the thing where we didn't sleep for 3 days, challenging ourselves, and just like would write like rap songs and make beats and do that all night, and it was awesome.
And you moved around a lot when you were younger, and I met you on a playground at East Palestine Middle School.
I saw the big kids throwing tennis balls at you. You were a student at one of the schools I happened to go to. We played the keyboard making demo beats all night. And all the notes that we played wrong were played so right. Do you remember we used to hang in the cold morning light? I knew who you were, you knew who I was in the cold morning light.
So, what was it like to be moving around and like to meet new friends, make new friends all the time?
Well, people always talk about how it's hard to make new friends, and I didn't know even what it was like to make new friends for most of my childhood because I couldn't make new friends. Like, I moved around so often that like I never even had friends when I was really young. I was like such a loser that it was like, you know how like you get a new kid in your school and like they're like automatically like popular or like not cool. Mm-hmm. I was always like the kid that was like, I would arrive that day and everybody would be like, oh, he's not cool. So I don't know. I had a very hard time making friends.
Well, why? What? It always seemed that later on, though, not that far down the line, people from other schools would be like, Pepe, oh, everybody remembered you.
Yeah, well, that happened from moving around this area so much that, like, you know, after going to a small town school and moving away and coming back a few times, like, I did that with Columbiana a lot, like, from, like, kindergarten till graduation, I moved away and came back to Columbiana, like, probably 6 or 7 times.
So it was kind of like they kept meeting you, and then after a while, they'd really liked you.
It wasn't until, like, middle school, like 8th grade, when people finally were like, wait a second, I remember you. I remember, like, in elementary school, going away and coming back, and people being like, who are you? Yeah. And I was like, come on, guys, I'm friends with you.
Is that why you kind of adopted the demeanor of, like, you weren't a loudmouth by any means, but compared to what you are now, is that why, were you just kind of, like, trying to, like, be out loud to everybody and be in their face and be like, hey?
Yeah, well, honestly, it was, like, all through elementary school, I was very quiet. I was really shy, and I think that's just my natural demeanor.
Right.
And then somewhere in middle school, I think I was in, like, 4th grade, and my brother was in 5th grade, and he moved to East Palestine to live with our dad. Mm-hmm. And I was going to Crestview at the time. And all of a sudden, my brother was, like, super popular, and we were both on the same boat, like, all through our childhood. We were, like, losers and never had any friends. All of a sudden, my brother, like, was super popular and had all these friends, and I was like, wait a second, I want to be like him, and I want to go to East Palestine and be like this. He was kind of an obnoxious jerk to a lot of people. It was just, like, all of a sudden, he had this, like, self-confidence, and I saw that and I was like, I want to have confidence. I'm going to go there and be confident, and I'm going to have all these friends. And I moved to East Palestine, and I was just a jerk, and I didn't have friends. I thought he was like, I don't know. I remember him like specifically giving me advice. He was like, if you want to have friends, you just got to like learn how to like bully some people so you're like on the top. And I was like, okay. And that did not work. And I think that was 1 year. I didn't have any friends. I realized that wasn't working, and then the next year I met you, and actually had some friends and was like able to be nice to some people.
And in my head, you just turned it down a little bit. You were still very outgoing when I met you.
I was,
but it wasn't your natural
the result
demeanor.
Of my brother bullying me and his friends, and like
Yeah.
I don't know.
Right.
It was like me trying to fake some confidence.
Right. And you, what I specifically, real quick, so I was out on the playground. I see that you're standing up against the cages where people play tennis, and you are just kind of heckling the high schoolers, right? And you were like, you guys suck or something.
Yeah.
And they were like, and they'd lose a tennis ball, and you'd grab it, and you'd eventually throw it back to them, but you'd just kind of like give them a hard time and just mess with them for fun.
Yeah.
And it wasn't really you bullying anybody, you were just like being fun and like loud. But I remember there was a little gap in the bottom of the fence, and they would hit it with the racket away from their game at you, like they just like, or toss it at you or something. But so that's like how me and you met, and a lot of my friends, the same thing happened with how we met. It was always somebody kind of acting like an outcast and then meeting me. You know, like it was always like Craig just came up to me and was like, "Will you be my friend?"
Yeah, and I remember, we were in an English class and we had a group project, which I always dreaded. Because I was always like, nobody wanted to be in a group with me, and we had like a mutual friend, and you know, everybody formed their groups, and I was like, can I be in your group?
Yeah.
And that was
So Pepe joined my project group, and we started making home videos, and that's how then we eventually started doing a website called Bullskit.com, where we made a bunch of skits that feature Pepe.
It was more than just a spider, man. It was a singing, dancing spider. I could have been rich. Do you realize how much money people would pay to see a spider sing and dance?
What's the problem, man? Do you want someone to sing for you? Is that the problem?
What is that? How would that help?
Sing for you.
Why would I want you to
God,
sing? That's not the equivalent of a singing, dancing spider.
Look out! I got it. Yeah. I got it. Okay. All right.
Singing, dancing spiders. I saw one in the pantry earlier. They're getting bigger every day. You're welcome.
What the heck, man? That was our roommate, Craig.
There wasn't a spider?
So, secondly,
Nice.
you know what? Real quick. No, I'll get to that later. Sorry. Secondly, let me mix these questions up a little. What is your religion?
My religion. I'm actually kind of excited to answer this question because I don't talk to people about religion very often. Not because I'm not interested in religion. I'm actually super interested in religion.
Mm-hmm.
So I'll give you kind of the long answer.
Okay.
Because it's more fun that way. I was raised Lutheran, which is a branch of Catholicism. So it's pretty strict. It's not Catholicism, but it's a very old Christianity branch. It was like one of the first to break up the Holy Roman Empire. So it was very traditional. You know, we did communion every Sunday, and I wasn't forced into it necessarily. My mom raised me with, you know, the Christian teachings. You know, it was all about like there's only one God and His Son Jesus or whatever. But I didn't have to go to church. I chose to. I had my mom take me to my grandma's house every weekend so I could just go to church with her. And my dad is from Mexico, so of course he's Catholic. So I was raised very Christian, and somewhere in high school, all of a sudden our school got all this funding, and they got to offer new classes and courses, and one of them was world religion, and I was like, oh, that's cool. I was raised religious. I can do this. Easy yay. And I failed my first few tests, and then I realized I needed to study, and it wasn't all just like my religion.
Yeah.
So I was reading about all these religions, and I was like, oh, this is so cool. You know, I was learning about like Hinduism, Buddhism, Sikhism, Islam, Muslim. I was like reading about all these religions, and like the more I studied, the more intriguing it got. And I was like, and then all of a sudden I had all this inner turmoil, and I was like, wait a second, all of these people all over the world live in all of these different gods and deities and different teachings and versions of heaven or afterlife or whatever. And I was like, how is mine the one and only? So I went to my reverend at my church, and I wanted to talk to him and be like, hey, why is this one the right one? And I always tell this story to people, and the way I tell it is, oh, he was super cool, and he was like, yeah, learn about these things, and you got to figure it out for yourself. And that's always like my version of the story. But like when I really like remember back to it, it was more kind of like, it's okay to read about other religions, but just as long as you know there's one and only true God. And like,
Okay.
So it's like. It was like, I think it was more that I was just like a teenager, and I heard what I wanted to hear.
Yeah.
Because before I even asked him, I knew that I needed to make my own decision.
Yeah. He was like, you do whatever it is you want to do. And you're like, thanks.
Yeah. But really, he was just kind of being like, I don't know. I have a feeling he was just kind of like, well, don't read too far into it,
because they're all wrong.
Yeah. So I was reading about them, and I discovered that, you know, I wanted to do the thing where I was like, I'm going to learn about all these and like choose one, and for once in my life, like choose something that I believe in, not because somebody else told me to, because I believe in it. And so for a while there, I started telling everybody I was Buddhist, because I really enjoyed the Buddhist teachings, and those made the most sense to me. And then eventually it kind of just turned into, I realized that it was the teachings that I took more as a philosophy than a religion. I don't necessarily believe in like reincarnation or anything like that. I just I took it as I have a very strong connection with self-discipline.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I'm drawn to that, and I think it makes a lot of sense, even if you take it not from a religious point of view. Mm-hmm. And so eventually I was like, not one of these, nobody knows which one is right. I can decide that. So I guess I would say I'm agnostic. I tell people I'm atheist because I don't necessarily like gravitate towards a firm belief.
Would you say you're the most similar to Buddhism if you took it all like and laid it all out, or is it more agnostic these days?
I think I follow Buddhism as a philosophy, and I think that it works as far as like meditation and wanting to be happy with yourself. Mm-hmm. And like I said, like the self-discipline thing, I think it all makes so much sense, like, and even in a completely scientific point of view. Mm-hmm. So if I call myself Buddhist, I mean that specifically in like a state of mind sort of way, and not a religion at all.
That's cool.
So I guess I would still call myself Buddhist, but if you ask me what my religion is, I would say atheist or agnostic.
You're not standing there following something on purpose.
No,
Yeah, right.
I don't follow it as a religion. I do it as a more of just to follow these things to be happy, and I don't know. I'm super drawn to self-discipline, and I always have been, and I think it's because like the Christianity that was drilled into me when I was a child, and then I just like fell in love with like the Buddhist teachings, and ever since then, I just everybody always asks me why. I've never done any drugs or smoked or even drank alcohol, and it's not at all like I have anything against any of those things. I don't think there's anything wrong with it. Like, people can do what they want, but like I don't know. There's some like satisfaction I get from knowing I have like complete self-control over all of these different aspects of my life.
And no, I can, no, if I can speak to that for a second, I'm thinking there's that, I can't remember the name of the song, but there's that Bjork song where she says she wakes up every morning and throws things off of a cliff.
Hyper ballad.
Yeah, hyper ballad. She wakes up every morning, throws things off of the cliff, then goes back to bed or goes back to her lover, goes back to whoever.
Yeah.
And she says that she does that so that she can feel lucky for the rest of the day. She thinks about what it would be like if she herself fell off the cliff. She thinks about whatever, however you want to take it.
She says, I wonder what my body would sound like slamming against the rocks, and I've always thought that was one of the coolest
Yeah.
things ever.
And I'm not like some mega Bjork it's not like I'm like her passions speak to, I'm just saying like that song, whoever had written it, whatever those lyrics kind of speak to why you choose to abstain from certain things, right? It's
Yeah, kind of. I mean, again, it's not like I don't do it for religious reasons. I don't do it because I think there's anything wrong with those things. I don't know. I just I've also that makes sense. The lyrics, I never really thought of it like that, honestly.
I didn't know if you were like I always thought, and I do it too. Listeners, both of us don't drink, don't do any drugs, don't smoke. We're both nerds, but
I don't think there's anything nerdy about it.
There's nothing nerdy.
I was at a
kidding.
bachelor party last night with one of my coworkers, and everybody went outside to smoke, and he and I were just sitting there, and we were like the last ones sitting there, and he was talking to me about it, and I always have a hard time answering these questions to people because it's like I hate being asked it, and I'm just like, it's nothing. Just don't even pay attention to it.
Yeah.
Just pretend I'm drinking with you. I don't know. But basically, like, what my answer usually is I kind of have this deep fear of not being in control. I am terrified of the idea of, just not being in 100% control of my actions or thoughts. Mm-hmm. And I know that, like, it's not like something that's so crazy that if I were drunk, I would be like, I don't know that I wouldn't be like murdering somebody if I were drunk or something. Right. It's just, I don't know. It's just like this deep fear that I have. And I also have like alcoholics in my family that have like ruined it. The thought of alcohol for me from my entire life, like, just, I'm scarred from some of the things I saw at a young age, so I'm just like, not for me. I have no interest.
Well, that makes sense because obviously you've chosen to abstain from very specific things. Mm-hmm. Aside from the idea that abstaining generally from things makes life better because you're not embellishing all the time.
Right.
Secondly, the things that you chose to abstain from specifically, I was just going to get to that. Those things, they're not because you're like, those things in particular make life better. You'll eat some ice cream, you'll embellish in other things, but the reasons for the things you're naming, things that are usually intoxicating. I mean, we're drinking coffee right now. We understand that other things are, but it is because of our upbringing. Like yours more than mine, but we saw plenty of people in small town Ohio basically edge toward ruining their lives with that stuff.
Yeah.
And I mean, Pepe and I never walked around being like straight edge and breaking people's cigarettes in half.
And that's the thing that's frustrating about it is people take it as a personal attack. Like, even like close friends, if they're like drinking, once people are like drunk and over emotional, they're like, so like more often than not, they're like, you judging me because I'm drinking? And I'm like, no. I'm not, honestly.
And getting a couple beers in people to get them to loosen up, to talk to them. Sometimes it's totally cool. If they're the right person, it works for them. It just doesn't work for us. And I think that straight up, people can do it, but it can mess your life up.
Yeah, that's the thing. It's like everything in moderation, I always use this as an example. I'm like, and it's so lame, but I'm like, nah, I'm not judging you. I got my own things. But it's like, my own things are drinking coffee or eating chocolate or whatever.
Right.
And I'm like, yeah, those things will kill me if I do it too much. Maybe, I don't know.
And you're better than I am at
not
that.
necessarily as fast, but
Right.
I don't know. I don't think it's all like on a scale and the lines are blurred and all that crap.
But that's exactly why you don't judge people for drinking.
Yeah, I
mean,
don't judge anybody.
And the only time I've ever seen you or me or anybody judge anyone is when they've overdone it.
Yeah, as long as they're not like if a close friend of mine is like really hurting themselves with something, you know, I've never had to say anything to anybody really. I don't think anybody has ever gone, at least any of my close friends that I feel responsible for saying something to them, but I feel like I would if I felt like they were endangering themselves.
And not to stay on that subject too long because it's a complicated one, but just to give everybody a be-all, end-all, we saw a lot of people who overdid drugs and alcohol when we were young, and we chose to abstain for that reason. It was like seeing a car accident and choosing not to drive. That's all it was. It wasn't that we thought that everyone who does it is wrong. It was that
and
we
it's
were scared.
Absolutely not. I'm better than you kind of thing.
Not at all. Not at all. Not at all. And I mean, you're so much better than I am as far as actually control. Like you eat like vegetarian. You're running the company Orange Avocado with vegan food. That's desserts that are healthy. You eat gluten free.
Yeah, and I think that stems back to just being like obsessed with self-discipline.
Yes.
I love challenging myself. Like, I ate vegan for 3 years, and I've been vegetarian since I don't even know when. But it's one of those things. Like 4 or 5 years ago, I was told by my doctor that I have celiac disease, and I was like, "Bring on the challenge!"
Yeah.
You know, like a lot of people would like. They would be super upset and just like be broken from that, and I was like, I can do this. I've had to, you know, not eat certain things in my life or whatever. I also have like a terrible metabolism, so I can't just like eat pizza and ice cream like I want to. Like a lot of people around me can, and I'm so jealous of that. And it's not because I'm not like, oh, I'm eating a salad because I'm better than you. It's like, crap, I have to eat a salad even though I want pizza because I will gain 10 pounds from one bite.
Dude, yeah, guys, take it from me. I totally agree. Unfortunately, it's true. You don't have a good metabolism. I have a really good one, and I'm trashing my body. You know, like I'm totally. You're not one of those people that just says that. Like you've just happened not to have it's probably okay, but you happen to have not the greatest metabolism, so you act accordingly. And I should be, and I weigh a lot more than you, and I have like the metabolism that anyone could dream of having, and I'm still really chubby, and I like, you know what I mean? Like, so it's very relative as to what you choose to abstain from and why. It's like, if alcohol and drugs were your jumping off point, veganism and just watching other things that you eat overall were kind of maybe the result of fleshing out that attitude.
Yeah, and it's on what it's worth to you too.
Yeah.
Some people, you know, they might be allergic to something and it makes them feel terrible, and they'll still eat it.
Right. And if someone says live short and be happy as opposed to live long and be sad, go for it.
Yeah, that's fine.
Go for it.
If
all good.
Yeah, if that means more to you, then I don't know. For me, I just like, you know, I could enjoy ice cream and be more overweight than I am.
Now,
and
you're
there's nothing wrong with that. I just for me, I'm like, nah, I'm gonna get into running.
So that coffee just splashed up onto my cheek.
Yummy.
Dang it. God, this is embarrassing. No, okay.
You guys should have seen it. It was
Oh, classic. It was weird. It just got on my cheek. It didn't get on my shirt or anything. Okay, so that kind of comes from maybe some of Buddhism, religion, or Buddhism influence, et cetera, et cetera. Okay, so what is it? Music is obviously one of the things you did to keep yourself entertained in a small town.
yeah.
So if you had to choose one song, you skate to one song only on an island. on an island by yourself. It's only you and the song and food.
Okay. Oh, there's food?
Yeah.
Okay, so I've listened to this podcast. Of course I have. It's very popular
Of course.
in my household.
Yeah.
So I knew you were going to ask this question, and every time I listen to a different episode, I'm thinking about my answer, and it changes every time, obviously. I think that's normal. And my initial reaction is to want to choose some song that's like going to impress people and make me sound cool and super deep and artsy. And then my second reaction is to want to choose something super poppy and fun that I would listen to in my car, and I would be able to listen to it every day and dance and sing, and nobody could see me because I'm on an island. But the more I think about it, the more I'm like, nah, I just got to choose something that I would genuinely like to live with every day. So, my answer is a song by a band called Sigur Rós. They're from Iceland, and it's from their second album called Parentheses. I guess technically it's their third album. But that doesn't
Yeah,
matter.
third. Yeah, you're
If
right.
you ask those guys, they would tell you it's their second because they don't consider their first one an album.
Oh, okay.
But anyway, so that doesn't matter. It's the first track on the album. It's called track 1. And I just think it's the most beautiful song ever written. And I choose this song because they're vocals, so you could sing along, but there are technically no words. Like it's all like made up. So I feel like this song works in so many different ways. You know, if you're listening to a sad song and it has sad lyrics, you can't really take it as a different way.
Sure.
You could, but I feel like this song, it sounds like it could be sad. Whatever mood you're in, you can it can fit it. So it sounds like it could be a super happy and triumphant song, or it can be sad and you can sing along and the words are whatever you want them to be because they're made up words.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know. I just think that would be a cool thing to have. I'm still not allowed.
No, you're fine. I'm just so loud. I can't tell how good that album is anymore. It came out in 2001 or 2 maybe, and we went and saw them right when the release was out and stuff. When we were young, and we went to Columbus.
The tour for that album, we saw them 3 times, and we got to hang out with them and meet them, and it was if anybody listening to this has never heard of this band, please check them out. They just make beautiful music. And their live shows are I saw them 4 times. Yeah, we saw them 4 times. Yeah. And then the lead singer Jónsi has a solo album. We saw him then too.
Yeah, that's right.
And not one of those times did I not just bawl my eyes out.
Yeah, it is that kind of music. If anyone here likes slow soundscape and ballad type stuff, they're definitely something to look into. They're a huge band. A lot of people probably listening to this have heard of them, but if you missed the boat on them, because some people are like, "Who the hell? What the hell is it?" Give it a shot because it might at least be good. It's good background, good relaxing. Take a bath to music, that kind of music, or it can be real intense and crazy adventure music.
And we're getting paid to advertise them.
I wish. I wish I could play these songs that people say would be their island songs to give some atmosphere to the podcast, but I can't really do that.
Yeah. Oh, you know what's cool? I can't remember which episode I was listening to, but I think it was the one you did with Craig. When you asked the island song question, I was thinking about it, and I told myself that my answer would be Hyper Ballad by Bjork.
Whoa.
And it's so weird that you brought that up,
Yeah.
because that was I remember listening and being like, if I ever do the podcast, that's going to be my answer. And then I listened to it a few times in my car, and I still love that song, but it was I could get sick of this.
Totally. But, and guys, sorry, you know what, listeners? Pepe and I are 31 now.
What? No.
Well, you're not 31 yet. You're going to be 31.
I'm young.
So, I know it sounds like we think that Bjork and Sigur Rós are the new hip things, but we've just been around for a long time. We got a lot of stuff on our radar now. We listen to plenty of new music.
Yeah, we're hip. We listen
I
to
like
new stuff.
I like new stuff
Yeah.
Sigur Rós and Björk. No. But a lot of the reason that we
Ever hear of a little band called the Beatles?
but the reason that we touch on a lot of those kind of whatever you want to call them, like atmospheric alternative bands, is because we came up with those guys as our influence to our music. So those guys we touch on hard when we're hanging out with our people our age. We're always like, "You're the new Radiohead. I like Foo Fighters and whatever." You know what I mean? Like we just
and don't think that I am too cool to tell you guys that I listen to Beyonce and Katy Perry and Lady Gaga. And,
plenty of pop music. I listen to I listen to Nick Jonas sometimes.
Lee is.
I'm an idiot.
Love with Nick Jonas.
Nick Jonas. I listen to the "Call Me Maybe" song. Okay, I'm old. I don't know the artist,
okay.
but I listen to "Call Me Maybe."
There's a line.
Oh
and,
God, yeah. Yeah, man. Oh my God, I listen to tons of current pop music as much as I can, but unfortunately, because we have lots of shows and lots of things that we do, we really have a hard time actually keeping up on certain things. Like, Pepe, you're good about like. You usually check out awards shows, check out like some celebrity gossip now and then, which is fun, which is cool. And sometimes that's good because you have that going on. And then sometimes I fall way behind.
By the way, Beck totally deserved his Grammy.
What happened with that?
Sucks. This is old news by the time.
Sorry.
By the time this airs. Just Kanye did his stupid thing where he thinks his opinion is the correct opinion, and Beck won Album of the Year, and he said that he should give it to Beyonce. I love me some Beyonce, but let Beck have his award.
That's a good album. I listened to some of that. He's somebody we came up on too. We listen to him. Lots of Ben Folds 5. Lots and lots of Hanson. We still follow Hanson. We really like them as far as like their blues, not country, blues and pop rock like things they do. They put out good music.
A good band. Everybody, you can't tell that to people on the street because they're just like, you mean Bop Hanson?
Yeah. Which that song I don't really care for anymore, but they really have some good songs that came out around the same time and really good current stuff. It's not like brilliant, but it's fun, like pop, good. That album, Shout It Out, that's a fantastic album, man. That's like an actual masterpiece of pop music, and it's Hanson.
And we grew up together listening to the same music and writing the same music. We have a lot of the same tastes. We actually differ in taste a lot too.
Lately, but when we were coming up together, we definitely both. That's why we sound how we sound, all bouncy.
Yeah.
Because we like basically just fed off of like those poppy, like they maybe not directly they might be giants, but like Bare Naked Ladies, Ben Folds 5, Hanson, bunch of like bouncy bands.
We're gonna have a party in your house tonight. We're gonna have a party. Everything's gonna be alright. We're gonna have a party in your house tonight. We're gonna have a party. Everything's gonna be alright.
You are very against stylized vocals.
Oh yeah, I don't like them.
And I understand that completely, but I disagree also because it's art, and it's like, that's kind of like saying somebody that paints with oil paints is not using his natural medium. I know that's completely different, but it's like I don't know, if somebody wants to sing in a certain style, maybe that's the style they, as long as they're not changing it from song to song and they have no identity, if they have something they identify with, I think that's their freedom to art.
Well, I've definitely considered that a handicap that I have. It's not something that I really like about myself, but it's something that I need to get used to. And it's something that's been happening since the beginning of rock and roll. And it's weird. I don't know where it comes from. I don't know how I got raised, but like David Bowie has that warble, so I don't listen to him.
Yeah. I was trying to think of an example of a stylized vocal, like if people didn't understand what it
Sia, I don't listen to her. I like all the songs. I love the songwriting.
I don't consider her stylized.
I don't know where it comes from.
I think she has a unique voice, and I don't think she necessarily like forces it. I think it's natural for her. the way she
Probably,
sings.
probably. That's why I can't really draw a line as to what they're doing that makes me not like it, other than that if it's just a flamboyant vocal. Sometimes it bothers me, but it's weird. It's not that I'm looking for. I don't know. I guess it's like akin to like a dead sounding drum set. I'm looking for something that's really
You're
straightforward.
looking for something, straightforward, and you seek out like the most genuine things in people
But
and their music.
it sounds like I'm saying that Sia is a liar or something, or it sounds like I'm saying David Bowie's a liar, and it's not that. It's a handicap. Recently, Corey and I talked about this at length through text message because we're young and hip. A recent This American Life podcast talked about something called vocal fry. Yeah, and that's just. I can't define it exactly, but it has to do with inflection and putting people along like that, and then hypoarticulate reporting like this, and like it's not really sounding like that much. That's me
Yeah.
exaggerating. All it is people having personality to their voice, maybe overly
Yeah.
personable
And
voices.
sometimes those things come from like where they're from and the people.
And
that
I probably
they-
have it. I think it comes from West Coast.
Yeah.
Like I think it comes from liberal. Like it probably doesn't. But I think, and you know what?
Yeah, when you described it, I immediately thought West Coast.
Right, and maybe that's
Those people are stupid.
No, and you see that having an overly personable voice in West Coast manner is the same thing as having an overly personable voice in the South, or like in Ohio, we have that weird like when you go to
You're so good.
yeah. Do you hear that?
At accents.
I sounded like a guy from the South just there. And then in Ohio we talk slowly. There's plenty of weird little vowel things that I do that are weird. And then when you go west in Ohio towards Toledo, you get the now do you have Polish sausage? You like start to get the little hint of the Polish sausage, Wisconsin, Chicago thing. Just a hint in like Cleveland, and then you get to Toledo. Keep going, just sometimes. And then it's such a mixed bag around here. There's a bunch of West Virginia accents and a bunch of like Michigan, Chicago, Illinois accents, like straight up in this area in Youngstown. So we have all kinds of diversity. So I don't know where I get off being like, I don't like your voice. You know, it's a handicap as far as I'm concerned. It's something I've got to get way over. I admit that. Okay, so what the hell else do I usually ask on this thing? I asked what you think about Ohio. I asked what song you would take to an island. I asked what your religion is. What do you think of when you hear the word nursery?
Oh, I guess I think of plants. And I think that's now I think of plants because you lived on a nursery with Ellen, and we just always called it the nursery, and that's I think of trees. But I think that like before that, I don't know if I thought of. This probably isn't even a definition of nursery. I think that when I was younger, if somebody said the word nursery to me, I would think of a hospital.
Cool.
Because of nurses. And
It's neat that you say that because our buddy who filmed us for Let's Go Youngstown, a TV show on the CW locally,
Yeah.
he introduced a song of ours, the song Nursery,
yeah.
and he called it Hospital by accident.
Oh,
He was like, check out Third Class, this is their song Hospital. It's one of my favorites.
that's cool.
Maybe he associates the same.
We also have an old song called Hospitalized. And then another song called Hospital Restrooms.
I can't take this torture, pass it on.
Yep, and those are good as far as like nursery, hospitalized, and hospital restrooms are all like kind of sad songs.
Most of our songs are sad songs that sound happy.
Yes, for sure. And then let me ask you, what's your favorite part about playing in Third Class? And then what's your favorite skit that we've done in Bullskit Productions?
Okay. Wait, what'd you say?
What's your favorite part about playing in
yeah.
Third Class? Sorry.
Touring is so much fun, and it's such a good excuse to travel. Some of my best memories in life are road tripping with you and Jack, and I don't know, just like the feeling of being in the car and going around to different cities. It's just like so much fun. And then obviously like playing hometown shows, you know, being on stage and like looking out and seeing like all of our friends, like a place full of our like people we know and love, dancing and enjoying something that we created. It's just pretty awesome.
And then oftentimes you're associated, the few times you've taken lead vocals on our recordings, you're associated with darker vibes. Do you miss that because we're writing more poppy these days, or do you like where we're going as far as that stuff goes? Because you used to kind of write either a dark ballad or like a kind of a aggressive like.
No, I'm happy. I think it's I think that came a lot from being an angsty teen. Mm-hmm. You know, when you're a teenager, everything is so dramatic and. Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. And then, speaking of fun, what is your favorite aspect or favorite skit of Bullskit Productions?
Favorite skit is hard because there are exactly 46,000 skits, exactly roughly.
Yeah.
So that's hard, and it's like the song thing. I would probably change day by day, but to give a very broad answer, I would say anything with Craig in it always makes me laugh really hard. I guess one of the things that's like coming to mind right now is the one where I can't remember what happens in it now. I just remember he's in a dress, drinking a glass of wine, dancing to a Katy Perry song.
What is that called? Zone Out.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a good one.
And he just like, I don't know, maybe he's not as funny to people who don't know him, and it's just to us, but he's just one of the funniest people I know, and just thinking about like some of the skits that he's been in, you know, can make me laugh hysterically in public, and do the thing where like I'm like, no, I was just thinking of something.
Yeah, I think that a lot of people share your opinion on Craig. I do too, and if anybody's listening, go to bullskit.com and check out the skit. Look for the skit Zone Out. It's weird. Craig is just like dances in a dress and sips, wine or something. And it's really fun. And I think that he has this thing where if he tries to say something serious to somebody, it's a Boy Who Cried Wolf thing because he's always so funny, even by accident.
Yeah.
That people are like, oh, Craig. And it's like, it takes him a couple tries to say something genuine because he was always joking.
Yeah. Craig's my one friend I'm always trying to explain to people who don't know him. Because I'm like, nah, he's like this loner that lives in Cleveland, and he's like a super genius, and he's a scientist that works at the Cleveland Clinic, but he's the silliest person I know, and he'll make you laugh like nobody else will make you laugh, and I don't know, he's just an interesting dude. Definitely,
man. And all of us have that thing where we're joking too much and stuff, but he's just like an ultimate example of like he's well-rounded, grown up, yet completely immature at the same time.
Yeah.
So,
and I don't know. Obviously, people want to surround themselves with people who are funny, but like, I don't know. You're like one of the funniest people I know. Mike.
Oh man, I need to have him on.
Mike Simonelli. I don't know if anybody knows him. He's like just the quickest with his humor, and it's.
He's awesome. He's better than most professional like riffing stand-up comics.
Yeah,
he's weird, man. He is insane at it. He's so good at it.
Yeah, and Corey with his like super sarcastic humor.
I had Corey on here, and he's good. He kept it pretty like serious, but Corey is a fun person to interact with because he's got good reactionary comedy. He's so good at like throwing in a subtle like diss and then throwing a compliment on and then a diss again and stuff. He's really good at like throwing you off on purpose to keep you guessing. I really like his sense of humor a lot.
Are we going too long?
We're good. This is the end. Go ahead and just say something to my mom, and then we're out.
Something to your mom?
Yeah. Say, hey, Mom, we're on. Well, you already said it, but just, you know.
Is hers going to...
Yeah, it's next. Or, well, no one cares that's listening to this, but it'll be on next after doing this.
Well, listen to hers. I don't know what number it is, but...
It doesn't. They're
doesn't
not
matter.
numbered. You can listen to
She's
it.
super cool and intelligent and awesome, and she was a big part of who I am today. And, yeah, she rocks.
Now, and Pepe's talking about an episode called Robert Frost and Octavia Paz. That's what I called that. So don't worry about sequential things, listeners. Just click on that episode and
Let the adventure take you away.
Let it flow.
all right, see you later, Mom. We're on a podcast.
Bye.